You led them down the path, then you slammed the door in their face. That's what someone wants to say to you. They thought you were the prize. They thought they had an open invitation. Then one little thing happened, they feel like you just slammed the door shut or trapped them, no way out. Trapped not in a good way, not trapped with them, but trapped them by their words. They feel like there's something that you won't overlook. If this is for you, you know who it is. They want you to overlook something so bad. I feel like I'm supposed to go to this Money Moves Oracle deck. What do they want you to overlook? Endings, authority. Loyalty. Oh, I see. They want you to overlook what happened before. They want you to see that they're loyal like this dog right here looking at you. They don't feel confident. This says be self-confident. That's the opposite of how they feel. You saw through them. It's like you saw their vulnerability. That's what they're afraid of. They feel like they trap themselves by just showing off their low self-esteem or their low self-worth. They feel like they confirmed things for you in the worst way, and not by cheating or anything like that. They just feel like they weren't strong enough. You saw a massive flaw that they don't usually let people see. But you had to see it. Too busy winning. That's why you didn't see the flaw before. Too busy winning. This person feels like they were busy winning. They feel like you're nitpicking over this one thing. Like one little thing, but here's the problem with that. They don't realize that one little thing might be an indicator, a litmus test of something else. So if that's what happened, you're within your rights, because sometimes all you need to see is that one red flag. They don't want to be the red flag, but red flags are relative. They're different for different people. One person's red flag is another person's treasure, So, scarcity tactics. That really means they're trying to play you by making you think that they were going to go somewhere. Trying to make people think that they're bigger than they are. That's the thing. It's like this person knows they've done a lot to puff themselves up. It's very sad. Low self-esteem issues. That's why things can be so triggering. Because this person's taking a lot of things personally. Pay attention to what this person gets upset about. They get upset about things that really give them away. Romantic love affair. Obsessive lover. Girl fight. They wish they could have a fight started. Anything to provoke a different ending. That's why they want to fight. That's what I mean about being triggered. Their triggers are weird, even if they're in some kind of love affair. A lot going on beneath the surface with this person. Their life is a lot more complex than you might think, but they really feel seen by you and not in a good way. They wish it was good. They wish there was anything they could do to smooth it over. It's like you saw their biggest weakness, something that they wanted to hide from everybody. You saw that they weren't actually as confident in a certain area. Perhaps temporary distance. Release expectations, playing both sides. It's complicated. They're very defensive. Playing both sides with themselves, really. They wish other people would release expectations. When I said this was a complicated situation, yeah. A lot going on here. There's temporary distance. This is about the fact that this person might have withdrawn. Because you might think, no, I haven't heard from that person in a while. It's because they're sitting back thinking. And when you do hear from them again, they're going to have a lot to say. But that's how defensive they are. Even though they might be an obsessive lover, they're also the type who it's too painful to even think about you right now. A whole lot. Too painful to look at you. I mean, you're always there in their mind, but they're going out of their way to avoid looking at you so much online or avoid anyone talking about you because it's shame. It's really deep shame. It's really sad. It's like you said something or saw something that really hit them where they live. That's what I just got. They can't believe it. It has affected them deeply. It affected their life on many levels because it's a deep issue for them. You know what? Let me see what the issue's about. I feel like if I go to this deck, Spill Tea, I need just one card about what the issue really is. Keeping up appearances. That's all I got. You know what's funny? The energy that came through as I got this is This person doesn't even want me to know. They don't want anybody to know. They are so desperate to make it look like everything's okay. It's really sad. It's very sad. It's almost like living a double life. And this person could even be like a high-paid professional, CEO, CFO, something like that. Someone you wouldn't think was that insecure. But, I've known those types of people working in corporate America. And sometimes those are the most insecure people. Also the most narcissistic, sociopathic. Not always. Some of you need to hear this. My experience in corporate America showed me that the ones who tend to be more like that, the ones who just sort of hop between those big C-level jobs. A C-level employee is like a chief officer, like the big people at a company. It doesn't mean they're the owners. The owners could be somebody completely different, but it's people, usually the board has decided who to hire, but they're employees. And they usually are on the payroll like everybody else. Of course, they get bonuses and bigger salaries and stuff. The ones who are the worst are the ones who just came out of nowhere, flew across the country just to get that new chief technical officer job. I mean, you got CEO, CTO, CFO, CIO. If you're in accounting, like what I would see all the time were these huge, massive amounts of money to move someone across the country or something. You have that, or you have people who got promoted within. The people who got promoted within, who you've heard of before, or sometimes it's not promoted from within, sometimes it's just promoted from another company that you've at least heard of because it's in your town or something. Like I used to see that in the pharmaceutical industry. But these people who just out of nowhere, it's like, we got this person from somewhere, you got to watch. That's someone who wrote themselves into a position. But the energy I'm getting is someone who has worked, oh yes, oh my gosh. Someone who has really worked their way into like a big, big job that really is above them. And maybe they're in a position now that they can't handle. They don't know that. They don't see it that way. It's going to catch up to them. It's really kind of sad. But this is someone who has to learn the hard way. But they're making it all look fine. Journal about it. Let your spirit talk to you because this is for your intuition. But they're not well, or their situation isn't good. I mean, it could be physical. But I'm getting that someone's looking at them wondering how they got that job too. Because that's the thing. This person always knew. They always knew they couldn't handle this big job, whatever it was. And look at that. And now they have to deal with the consequences of their actions, but they don't really see it that way. Accept what you cannot change. You are divinely guided. Operate in love and you will prosper. This person, and look, for whatever reason, I'm supposed to talk about this. I've seen a lot of people in corporate America get into big jobs, like get promoted from within, because getting promoted from within isn't always that good. It just depends. Like I was always in finance accounting department. And I've worked places where there was someone who worked their way up from, like, let's say accounts payable, which is respectable. Nothing wrong with accounts payable, but you don't go to college accounting like I did to learn accounts payable. That's something you just kind of learn on the job. And I've seen people go, let's say, be the best accounts payable person and then get promoted because they were good at that. So they get something like a title like accounts payable accountant. Eventually, maybe just staff accountant, because that's what usually my job role was staff accountant, senior accountant, something like that. Well, just because they have that job role doesn't mean they had the training. I've seen people get promoted to that who didn't know accounting at all, but it was okay for that job, like for that company where they were. It's just a title. The problem is they go to LinkedIn or someplace, they can make it look like they have more skills than they do. So they get a different job and it turns out they don't know anything about general ledger, how to do journal entries, and it just doesn't fly at this new company. That's what I mean. This person might have worked their way up into something that is just above them and they don't know how to describe that. I've seen that so many times, especially in accounting. I could tell within a day of working with somebody if that person actually had accounting experience or not. And if they don't, it can be so frustrating. And I'm sorry if early in my career, if I was frustrating to people, I'm sure I was, because you have to get better at the job. And it doesn't have to be about accounting. It's just someone who, that's what's really going on, is you might have seen how inept they are, and it's not their fault. And I had this one boss who I just knew more than he did. He shouldn't have been there. That's all I'm going to say. I made him look bad. Didn't mean to. I just happen to know more than him. He never got over it. Never got over it. He never should have been in that job, though. He got it out of nepotism. Should not have been in that job. 2 cards without even shuffling. You always have more than enough to help others in need, and your intuition is strong. You know what to do. You may have to get away from this situation, or this person has too. This is just the energy coming through. I'm just sort of telling a story about a person. I don't know which side of this you're on, but I'm going to say that your intuition's told you everything all along. Journal about it, because you're about to see some big moves in this person's life, and it's for your intuition. It's so you'll know, so you'll hear that still small voice inside you, okay? You always have more than enough to help others in need. It is spoken, it is written, and so it is. Amen.